Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Melissa, and this evening I'll be guiding through a 45-minute all-level yoga practice. So just a reminder to listen to your body through the class. If any stretches aren't working for you, you can always skip them, come on out and modify. And you may also want to grab some props. It's really nice to have a block or a blanket close by. So feel free to grab those if you would like to grab them and just feel a little extra support through the class. So let's just hop right in. So we are going to stand on our backs today. So we're just going to lay down and get nice and comfortable. And as you come down onto your back, you could take a traditional Shavasana pose if you'd like. That's where your legs are relaxed and your arms are relaxed. You could also bend your knees and plant your feet, and then just let your knees kind of come in towards one another. So that's just going to help you to support your low back. And letting eyes close here, we'll just come into a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of meditation. So allowing for the back of the head and the back of the neck to relax into the release. And then we'll also try to let go of tension through the shoulders, through the arms and the hands. And then trying to relax the upper, mid, and low back. And trying to relax your legs and relaxing your feet of any tension. And then dropping in, connecting to the rise and the fall of the breath. And then lengthening your breath as you inhale and lengthening the breath as you exhale. And then maybe encouraging your exhale to be a little bit longer than your inhale. And if you would like, you could set an intention for your practice. And an intention really could be anything that you'd like it to be. Maybe to clear the mind of thoughts, to keep the breath freely flowing in and out. Intentions are a nice way to connect us to the practice and to help make the practice our own. Let's start with a full body stretch. So drawing the hands up and overhead, and you may want to point your toes. You may want to flex your feet to allow for our body to be as active as possible here. And then taking your knees up and into your chest and into the stomach, arms, hands around knees or shins, and a little gentle rocking to the right and off to the left. Right leg extends to the sky, fingers will interlock. We're going to just gently support the back of the leg and take a moment here. Let's begin to point and flex a foot. So your left knee can be bent, left foot is planted. And then move as slow or fast as you'd like here. So sometimes the slower we move, the more of a stretch we can experience. And then let's take a moment to pause. We'll begin to point the foot. Breathe into the stretch for the top of your foot. And then flex your foot. Press through your heel and the back of the knee. And take that into circles. Maybe finding large circles, maybe finding smaller circles. And then circle in the other direction. And then taking a moment to relax. We're going to relax our legs and relax the arms. And closing the eyes for just a moment and just noticing the right side of your body. Noticing if you can feel the circulation, the blood flowing and moving, maybe a little bit of like a tingling sensation. And then when you compare it to the left side, maybe if you feel that the left side is just kind of like heavier and maybe a little bit more stuck and maybe just not kind of energized and flowing quite as freely. Evening off the body, we'll begin to plant the right foot, right knee is bent, left leg extends up to the sky, and point and flex your foot. And then we'll begin to pause, begin to point the foot. And flex your foot. And circle. Let's find that movement here. And then circle in the other direction. And then gently releasing that one. Let's relax our body along the mat once again. We're going to close our eyes. We'll take that time to check in to the two sides of the body. And then to release, let's take our feet to the edges of the mat. Knees are bent. And windshield wipe the knees side to side. We're just going to drop them off to the right. Drop them off to the left. Let's drop the knees off to the right, and we're going to try a nice IT band stretch here. So knees can drop to the right, and we're going to lift that right foot up, and we're just going to hook our right foot on the left knee. So you don't have to wrap the legs up. This isn't a spinal twist. We're just going to take our right heel, hook it on our left knee, or no, we're going to take our left heel, hook it on the right knee, and then dropping off to the left side of the room. And then we're just going to breathe here. So this is going to give that really nice stretch through the waist and the side body, and then really good for the IT band. So getting into that muscle, that band on the outside of the leg. And going to release it. Let's take our feet back to the edges of the mat. Knees will be bent, and we're just going to do that rock to the right and to the left. And then letting your knees drop to the other side. So we're just going to take the stretch for the second time here. And then your foot that's on the bottom, the foot that's underneath, we're just going to lift that heel up. Hook it right onto the knee and drop those knees off to the side of the room. And then again, we're going to feel that stretch into the waist, the side body, into the IT band. And then gently releasing that one. Let's take our feet to the edges of the mat. Knees are bent. Drop them to the right. Drop them to the left. And release. Let's take our feet down. So the feet are planted, knees are bent, and engage your core. So create a sensation of tucking your tailbone, ground into your mid-back. Let's gently support the back of the head. And we're going to work with some crunches. So as we lift, let's take our right elbow to our left knee. Reset to center. Left elbow to the right knee. Realign, and then side to side for a moment. Breathe here. Let's breathe into our stomach, ribs, and chest. And then releasing from the chest, ribs, and the stomach. And just trying not to crank the head here. We just really want to offer this nice gentle support to the head. Feel your breath coming in and out through your nose. And then let's begin to release that one. We're going to come down to the ground. We're going to hug those knees in, gentle rock to the right, and a rock to the left. Legs are going to extend to the sky. Fingers will interlock, gentle support to the back of your head. And core engages again, tailbone tucked, navel back and up to the spine. Let's lift the head. We're going to lift the neck. We're going to lift the shoulders up. And then lower down. Lift and lengthen up. And lower. And then let's take one at our own pace. We're just going to slow to the rise and the fall of the breath. Really ground into that mid-back. So sometimes I imagine I could draw a line from my navel down to the ground. And then I imagine that there is a grape there that I want to squish. So when I do that, it really helps to engage some different muscles. So I'll feel that the upper abs are working a bit more. I feel that the lower abs are working a bit more. Lift yourself up. Let's hold it here for a minute. And then straighten your right leg, and we're just going to lower that down. Let it hover maybe an inch or two off of the ground, and then come back on up. Left leg lowers down. And then letting that hover. And reset. We're going to take that up, and let's try that one more time on each side. So when you are hovering, you might feel that your mid-back is trying to peel and lift from the mat. So really try to glue it down, create that nice strong connection and foundation. Knees are going to come up and into the chest. Let's take a little rock to the right and to the left. And we'll do a rock and roll through the spine, rolling up the spine, coming up to seated. And then from seated, you can sweep your feet off to the right. We're just going to sit onto our left hip for a minute. Let your left hand lower down. We're going to take our right arm up and over, find a side stretch. And then roll this right shoulder back, left shoulder under, and feel that the heart is shining up to the sky. We're going to come back to neutral. Sweep your legs through center, take them off to the left. Right hand plants, left hand lifts, and try to ground into that left sitting bone and then lengthen through the whole side body. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come on up. Neutral spine. Let's take ourselves forward, landing in table. And as you come into table, if you'd like to grab a blanket to pad your knees, you can always do that. We're going to take our knees, our hips in line, and then also feel that the wrists and feel that the shoulders are in line. We're going to fan the fingers wide, press down through the index finger, and press down through your thumb. Let's take our right leg behind us. Toes will curl under. Take a moment to press through the heel and the back of the knee. Lift your heel up. We're going to take our heel in line with our hip. And then left arm reaches and stretches out in front. Arm frames the ear, thumb to the sky. As you exhale, let's take our knee and elbow to touch. And lengthen. Exhale, round. And lengthen. Let's take that one 3 more times, 3 more crunches. Coming back into balancing table. Knee down, hand down for table. Lower your stomach, lift through your heart, and tailbone lowers, crown of head lowers. Flow through cat and dog for a moment. So trying to lengthen as you inhale, lengthen as you exhale. Neutral spine. Let's try that on the other side. Left leg extends behind. Pressing here. Lifting up. Hand out in front. Knee and elbow touches as you breathe out. Find your length. Exhale round. Back to that balancing table, knee down, hand down table, down dog, breathe out, toes curl under, sitting bones sky, and then let's shake it out a little bit here. It may feel nice to bend one knee, to bend the other knee, and then relax your head yes and no. So just find this nice, gentle, organic movement to warm our bodies up for the practice. As you find stillness here, let's come on forward. We'll take it to plank. We'll take a high push-up pose, and then knees can lower down if you need to. Let's lower chaturanga. We're going to take an upward facing dog here. So using your breath, let's breathe into that low back bend. Press back, down dog, breathe out. Come on forward. Let's land in a forward fold, and then shake it out in your fold. Maybe bend one knee, then the other knee, and then let your head relax yes, and let your head relax no. Hands are going to walk off to the right, finding a side stretch. Try to feel grounded evenly through both of your feet. You're going to come back to center and hands to the other side. And release. Let's take ourselves back into neutral. We're going to take a half lift here. Fold it down. Come on up, rising for mountain pose. Hands at your heart, breathe out. Let's bring our hands right onto our hips. Drop your hips back and down for a chair pose. We're going to imagine that there is that chair behind us that we are trying to sit back into. Right foot's going to take a step back for a variation of crescent. And then we're going to lower that knee down. We're going to do a little tap. And then come back to chair. So we're going to just sink those hips back and down. Left foot back, lower, and reset. Let's take this one at our own pace. We're just slowing to rise, slowing to the fall of the breath. Finding a drishti, find that one spot to focus your concentration, to focus your awareness. And once you find that spot, not letting the eyes shift at all. Let's release it. We're going to come back into chair. So we're just going to sink those hips back and down. Come into a fold. And then for this fold, reach for opposite elbows, coming into a ragdoll. So reach for opposite elbows. And then you can create some movement or stillness. Sometimes a little rocking around side to side can be nice. Sometimes a little stillness is nice as well. Hands relax down. Let's take a half lift here. Fold forward, come on up, rising for mountain pose. Hands at your heart, let's breathe out. Right foot begins to lift. Let's come into tree. We're going to come into Vrikshasana. And for tree, you can bring your foot anywhere on the leg that feels comfortable. So we just don't want to place our foot right on knee joint. So below the knee or above the knee is fine. Finding your drishti, find that one spot to focus your concentration, to focus your awareness. And once you find that spot, not letting the eyes shift at all. Let's relax those hands. We'll do a little reset. Foot ground down, and then when you're ready, left foot is to lift them up. Hands can reach and stretch up. Feel really grounded through all the parts of your right foot. Press through the inside to the outside. And then noticing your body's natural tendency, if you tend to roll to the inside, maybe rolling to the outside of your standing foot. And then releasing. Hands released, foot reset, feet a little higher than hips. So we're just going to sweep those arms side to side, coming into empty coat sleeves. Let's come back into stillness. We're going to take our feet right in line with our hips. Hands right onto those hips again. We're going to come into chair. So we're just going to sink those hips back and down. And then from chair, right foot takes a sweep back. Let's try warrior 3 pose. And from warrior 3, we're going to come into crescent. So we're just going to float that foot back. Hands are going to reach and stretch up to the sky. Let's bring ourselves forward back into warrior 3. Right foot to left foot. Let's take our hips back and down, chair pose. Left foot floats back, warrior 3. Send it back, land in crescent. Let's come on forward, back to warrior 3 pose. And then left foot to right foot, hips back and down. Let's come into chair. Right foot's going to take a float back. Let's hold it this time. So warrior 3. Lots of options with arms and hands. Maybe hands at parrot heart, arms alongside your body, maybe palms face down. Maybe the hands reach and stretch in front of you. Let's come back to crescent. Feel that your right leg is really active. Press firmly through your heel, back of the knee, leg is engaged, leg energized. Come forward, we'll come back to warrior 3. Imagine that you could create a T shape with your body, long line from right heel to right heel, and then long line from that left heel to crown of head. Let's come back to chair. We're going to sink those hips back and down. Imagine that there is a chair behind that you want to sit back into. Let's take our left leg back, float it to warrior 3 pose. Rolling that left hip down. Imagine that you could balance the block on your low back. Releasing, crescent. Hips and shoulders square forward. Let's encourage that left hip forward, left shoulder forward, right shoulder back, and then right hip comes back a tiny back. Coming forward, let's come into warrior 3 pose. Releasing into chair. Releasing into warrior 3. Let's take this one more time on each side. Right foot floats back this time. Just know when we do our balance, it's so good for the standing leg. We strengthen all of the muscles through the foot, through the ankle, through the knee. So really, really good for your body. Come back to crescent. Feel your core working here. Tailbone tuck, navel back and up to the spine. Back into warrior 3, float it forward. And chair. Weight into heels, toes are light. Maybe toes are lifting from the mat. Left foot floats back, warrior 3. And release, let's come into crescent. Float it forward, back into warrior 3. And release, let's take it back into a chair pose. And forward fold. Let's come back to ragdoll, reach for opposite elbows, little rock side to side. And then offering a little neck traction here. Fingers will interlock. Let's reach for the back of our head. And then we're just gonna let ourselves hang here. So just letting gravity just stretch all of those muscles in the back of your neck. Maybe you help a little bit too by giving a little bit more stretch with the hands. Releasing, let's put ourselves into plank. We're gonna take a high push-up. And then as we take high push-up pose, let's hold it and we're just gonna do a little gentle rock forward and back. Knees can always lower down to the mat if you need support here. When you're ready, let's lower down chaturanga. We'll do that reverse push-up. Up dog. So when we breathe here, we're gonna open up our chest and our heart space and then press back to a down dog when you're ready. Right leg's gonna float to the side. Let's try a flip dog. We're gonna bend, stack, open. And then that right foot's gonna flip to the left and we're just gonna spin on our feet. Both of our feet are planted. Both of our knees are bent. Hips are lifting to the sky. And then we're gonna feel ourselves reaching and stretching up and overhead. Shifting a little bit on the hands and the feet. 3-legged dog. And then let's come here. We're gonna take it to a warrior 1 pose from here. As you take warrior, let's get really grounded in our feet. So we're gonna take that nice deep bend in the front knee. Back heel is grounded and planted down. Press firmly into the outer edge of your back foot. We're going to breathe into that calf stretch. Breathe into the hamstring stretch. Hands behind your body. We'll come to our yoga mudra. Full breath here to lengthen. Fold yourself down, breathe out. And then try to relax the fronts of your shoulders and just notice if that helps you move a little deeper into your stretch. Core engages. Let's come on up. We're going to take it back into a warrior one pose. Open into warrior two pose. And then as we come into warrior two, let's feel our hips and shoulders squaring off to the left wall. And then we also want to feel that our hips are even. We don't want to be leaning forward or back too much. Let's come into reverse warrior. We're going to float the front hand up and float it back. Back hand can glide down your back leg. Maybe wrap your arm around your low back. Reach for the other hip crease. Come on through. Back into warrior two. Take it down to a lateral angle. And then lowering for extended lateral angle here. And just trying not to collapse here into the bottom shoulder. Try to create a little lifting here. Try to create a little bit of lengthening here. Core engages. Let's come back on through for warrior two. We're going to straighten out our front leg. And then your back foot forward. We're going to work a little bit with pyramid. So on this one, it's not a full hop all the way to the top of the mat, but we're just going to have maybe a couple feet between the feet. Have your left toes turned up to your yoga mat. Try to square your hips and your shoulders forward. Hands are going to reach up. Take a nice full breath here. Hinge at your hips and fold down to the ground. Maybe draw more weight into your front foot. Just try to lift that front hip up. Balance off your hips and your low back. Maybe encourage your left hip forward. Right hip pulls back slightly. Let's come into a twist. We're going to ground into our left hand and then right hand lifts to the sky when you're ready. Rolling that right shoulder back, left shoulder under. Feel that the heart is shining to the sky. Option to stay here. If you'd like to invite some more challenge, maybe lift your left leg up. Try to lift that up. We're going to come into a revolve balancing half moon pose. Feel yourself working in the pose. Feel all of those muscles in the legs strengthening. Feel your core holding you. Holding on to this posture, landing in a revolved crescent warrior. So we're going to hold our twist. Left foot to the back of the yoga mat. Shoulders are going to float over your hips. And then feel that your hands are reaching and stretching in opposite directions. We're going to take reverse from there. Float your front hand up and back. And try to keep your back leg really active. Press firmly through your heel, back of the knee. Coming out nice and slow. Let's come up for that revolve crescent warrior. Release into crescent warrior. And then open into warrior two pose. And then as you take warrior two, we're going to windmill the hands down to the yoga mat. Let's come into a runner's lunge. As you take lunge, float yourself into plank. As you take plank, lower down chaturanga. I'm going to take that upward facing dog. Try to reach and stretch out through the crown of your head. Down dog, breathe out. Last leg floats to the sky. Bend the knee, stack and open through your hip. Let's flip that foot over. We're going to come into a flip dog. Hips lift up. Let's breathe into the back bend here. Breathe into low back, mid back and upper back. Shifting on the hands and the feet. Three-legged dog. And then come on through. We're going to rise on up. Let's take it to warrior one pose. Breathing into the stomach, ribs, and chest. And then releasing from your chest, ribs, and your stomach. Hands behind your body. Let's take that yoga mudra. We're going to release down when you're ready. And then coming on up, rising to warrior one, open into warrior two. And then as you take warrior two, maybe just doing a little scan here and notice where you're holding tension. And then if you're feeling that warrior two is really easy, maybe you want to bend deeper into your front knee. Maybe in time, try to create a 90-degree angle in your front leg. And then maybe you want to bring more distance between your front foot and your back foot. Let's come into reverse. Take it up and back. And then try to keep that deep bend in your front knee. Body's natural tendency is to straighten the front leg a little bit. Let's come through. We're going to take it back into warrior two and release to a lateral angle. And then maybe extend the lateral angle. And then just trying not to collapse here into the bottom shoulder. Try to create a little lifting here and a little bit of lengthening in that bottom shoulder. Core engages. Let's come back on through. Landing in warrior two. Releasing your front leg, and right foot's going to take a hop forward, and we're going to land in that pyramid stretch. Have your right toes turned up your yoga mat. Hips and shoulders square forward, and try to have your heels in line with your hips. So we want to imagine that feet are kind of like train tracks instead of thinking like a tightrope. Hands are going to reach up. Take a full breath here. Lengthen your spine. Fold yourself down. Breathe out. And then maybe playing with the weight of feet. And just notice also where you feel the stretch in your body. So we all experience each pose so differently. Maybe feeling the stretch through the legs, the low back, maybe through the back of the neck. As you let your head relax, you let your head release. Let's begin to lift that left hand when you're ready. We're going to find our twist. And then as you take your twist, lengthen on in-breath, twist deepens on out-breath. And then lifting that right leg up if you'd like. Find your way into that revolve, balancing half moon pose. And transitioning into that revolve crescent warrior. So hold on to your twist. Take your shoulders over your hips. Feel your hands reaching and stretching in the opposite direction. We're going to come to reverse. Float the hand up and back. Breathe in and breathe out. And release. Coming back on up to a neutral spine. We're going to gently release this one. Coming back into crescent. Opening into warrior two. Again, distance between the feet to widen the stance, deeper bend into your front knee. Let's windmill the hands down. We're going to float ourselves to a lunge. Step yourself back into plank. And then let's come all the way down to the yoga mat. We're going to lower all the way down to the ground. Working with a really nice stretch for your legs. Let's take our right hand for our right foot. We'll take a quad stretch here. And if you can't reach for your foot, if you have a yoga strap, you can always loop the strap around your foot. You can also, if you don't have a yoga strap, maybe grab a tie or a rope or something around the house just to kind of loop it around and to pull it in a bit. Maybe close your eyes here. And then although this pose is really active and it can bring up so much stretching for you, try to relax your body as fast as you can. Try to relax your eyebrows, relax your jaw. And try to let go of tension through the shoulders, arms, and hands. And then maybe giving yourself a little bit more stretch, maybe try to pull that leg a little bit in just a tiny bit more. And we're going to release that one. You can relax your legs, and then left hand for left foot, pulling that in when you're ready. And letting the eyes close. Try to clear the mind of thoughts. And so we always have thoughts moving through the mind, maybe thoughts for the past, thoughts for the future. Try to release the thoughts. Bring the awareness to the breath. Bring the awareness to the present moment. Remembering the present moment, the only moment where life truly exists. Let's release that one. We are going to press into tabletop, and then from table, keep your feet to the right or to the left. Let's try seated. Legs can extend right out in front of you. And we are going to work a little bit of a seated pigeon stretch. So for this one, take your left leg up and over, create figure 4, and then decide where you would like to go. So you can have yourself staying right here. This is option 2. You can also kind of scoot yourself in a little bit. And if you're feeling flexible and the knees are feeling good, you could try for the full variation. And on this one, let's just try to stack our lower legs in line. We want to have our heel in line with our knee, knee in line with our heel. Both of our feet are flexed. And then this knee is kind of encouraging down. So you could press it down or just energetically send it down. And maybe close your eyes. Maybe a little gentle wiggle of your head if that feels okay. And then just remembering that your breath is your tool for yoga practice. So sometimes when we're in stretches and the sensation is intense, just know that you can use your breath to soothe that tension. Let's reset. We're going to come to stillness here. Legs can extend in front of you. And then let's try that right leg on top this time. We'll see if it's a little easier on this side. Maybe it's more challenging on this side. So first up, second, or find that third option. And breathing. We're going to flex our feet. Knee encourages down. Maybe folding forward, movement with your head, movement with the neck leg. And when you are ready, let's release that one. Legs can come right out in front of you, and we're just going to give our legs a little bit of a shake out. Come down onto your back, and as you come down onto your back, reach for your feet. We'll take a happy baby stretch. Flex your feet, reach through your heels, maybe rock side to side, maybe find stillness here. Knees come up and into your chest and into your stomach, and give them a little hug in. We're going to rock to the right and then rock to the left. And from here, let's take a few moments of relaxation. You can relax your body here on the mat. If you have a sensitive back, maybe your low back is a bit cranky, it might be a really nice option for you to plant your feet, have your knees bend, and then let your knees come in towards one another. You could also relax your legs along the mat. That can be a nice variation for relaxation as well. Let your eyes close. Feel your breath gently flowing in and out through your nose. Allowing for the breath to deepen. Maybe wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And then making your way onto your side, you may want to create a pillow with your lower arm, gently support your head, and just feel your body taking the shape of the posture. And then coming on up, let's come into seated. And as you come into seated, maybe draw your hands at prayer at heart, into Anjali Mudra, into prayer position. And thanking yourself for practicing yoga this evening, for doing something so good for your mind, body, and spirit. The light within me honors the light within you. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's really wonderful to practice yoga with you. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Okay. Thanks, Melissa.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Melissa.
You're welcome.